How's it going, guys? Sorry, I trying to figure out something there. Um, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Obviously, you guys know that this stream is going to be a little different tonight. We're going to be talking about obviously conspiracy theories. You guys already know. Um, doing something new on the channel, so yeah. So we're gonna wait for obviously some people to get in here as always. Um, but yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about conspiracy theories, stuff that we believe, stuff that we may not believe. Um, doesn't matter. We're just going to basically just talk about it, talk about, crazy stuff that's happened, whatever. It doesn't matter. Um, that's what we're doing tonight. So I I am very interested. Like, I've never done anything like this on my channel before, to where we talk about, conspiracy theories and whatnot. So I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of change it up because, again, I never really talk about it that much. So, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting, theories out there. A lot of interesting, things that people have seen, in the world, which is crazy. In terms of like, people have seen this crazy stuff, in the world. It's crazy. Um, so that's basically what I'm going to be talking about in this. Like I was saying, that's what we're going to be talking about. This crazy stuff, this conspiracy theories in general. It doesn't really matter. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to do something new on the channel, kind of change it up a little bit because never we never ever did anything like this. So it's only fitting. It's only fitting. But yeah, um, so the biggest conspiracy theory out there, okay, and I don't know if you guys heard about anything like heard about this at all. Um, it's not really a conspiracy theory. It's more of, I don't know what it is, okay, but people have seen, supposedly people have seen like Bigfoot, supposedly. Um, supposedly people have seen, Bigfoot and whatnot, which is crazy. That people actually saw that. People really think that Bigfoot is real, and I do too, in a way, because I've actually watched, a lot of videos, a lot of pictures and whatnot. I saw a lot of pictures on, you know, pictures that people have taken, you know, um, videos as well. Which I think videos is probably like the biggest thing. Like, a lot of people have, they've seen Bigfoot before. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's fake because again, there's been a lot of crazy stuff that's happened before, and people have seen crazy shit before. So I'm not gonna sit here and say it's fake because we don't know for a fact that we don't know if it is or not. And I don't think it is necessarily because again, I mean these people are literally filming something. There's something like walking, like it looks like an animal, some sort, um, which is weird, which is pretty damn weird, because Bigfoot. A lot of people have said that they've seen Bigfoot like all over, like all over the world and whatnot, um, which could be true because again, I've watched a lot of footage. I've watched a lot of videos and whatnot. I wouldn't say like video like I haven't watched. I've watched maybe a couple videos in them. Somebody like took a picture of Bigfoot, supposedly. Um, but that's all I really know. That's all I really like know. As like I know that for a fact. Well, people believe it's real. Do I believe it's real? Yeah, I do. I do believe it's real because again it looks like this whatever it is basically like walking like a human, you know. So I mean, you can't really say it's not. Can't really say it's not that it's not Bigfoot because people have said many times all over the world they've seen Bigfoot. They've seen there's people that have seen there's people that believe in aliens. There's people that believe in like ghosts and whatnot, right? And even scientists believe that ghosts are weird real. Excuse me. Uh, so yeah, and people say that Bigfoot's real. Scientists probably believe that as well. So I don't really know, man. There's a lot of footage out there. That a lot of video, a lot of videos and just pictures and whatnot. You know what people think is Bigfoot, which I think it could be. I do think it could be. It's very possible. Because again, it literally looks like an animal like walking. Like that's what it looks like. Um, which is crazy. It looks like an animal basically like walking or something like that. Like it's weird. Um, so yeah, a lot of people believe in Bigfoot. A lot of people believe in people believe that aliens are going to invade, the planet and all that, like the world. There's people that believe that aliens are real, which I don't know if aliens are necessarily real or not, but I mean, I guess who really knows? But again, we don't really have any evidence to say that they are real, really. But it's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility because if you really think about it, again, there's a lot of people that said they've seen crazy shit before. So I mean, you can't say that they're lying about it, right? I mean, but then again, like everybody just believes in aliens. People believe, and this is not a conspiracy theory either, like about like pirates, right? Pirates, you guys don't know, there used to be like pirates used to be like real, like back in like the 1800s and whatnot. Um, they used to be real, but now obviously they're not. But they used to be, so that's not really a conspiracy or anything. But it's definitely there's just a lot of things that a lot of people believe. Like with aliens and whatnot, we have no evidence or anything that there's any aliens, but I do know that I do believe that there is big that Bigfoot is real. Um, but that's just sorry guys. But that's personally just my belief. You know, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe it. There's a lot of people out there that don't think it's real or anything. But and a lot of people out there aren't, you know, into conspiracy theories. Which I understand. But I'm into conspiracy theories. I'm into it big time. Like I believe in a lot of it. You know, just like um, just like the Illuminati and all that. When people say that the Illuminati is basically a fake thing, you know, like people believe it's something that that's not even real. It's just basically something that they're basically trying to scare people, which I don't necessarily believe that. Like I just don't. I don't believe that at all. I think the Illuminati is real, 100%. It is, of course, just a theory, but it's not really a theory because, well, it kind of is, but it's a theory that I believe because, again, you see all these celebrities and whatnot, getting talking about, selling their soul and whatnot, all this crazy ass shit, right? Then basically they like get possessed and whatnot, which is like weird on itself. Like, that's to me that's weird. That's absolutely weird. That actually happens. Um, so a lot of people are, a lot of people don't believe in, the Illuminati. A lot of people don't believe in aliens, which, hey, I mean, we believe what we believe, and I believe in Illuminati for sure. The Illuminati is 100% real in my eyes. Again, just based off of what I saw, based off of what I see, and I watch, celebrities getting interviewed, um, and whatnot. It's weird, you know. I think the whole like the music industry in general, not just like not just the movie industry, but just also the music industry. There's just a lot of people that act weird nowadays. It's just weird. It's strange. I don't really know like what to think about it, but yeah, I I definitely think that the Illuminati is real, 100%. And I've always believed that. I've always believed that the Illuminati is real. I always believed that celebrities, like one way or another, would basically like sell their souls and shit for fame or whatnot. Um, which is weird. Weird. Um, so yeah, that's what I definitely believe that. Then there's also another theory about obviously there's another theory about there's another theory about like cloning and whatnot. Like cloning is supposedly a thing, which I believe. I definitely believe. I believe that 100%. Um, Now, a lot of people also were saying too that animals and like different animals and whatnot are basically like cloned. They basically clone animals. Um, they supposedly clone human beings and whatnot. Um, I mean, they do crazy ass shit. And a lot of people don't believe. A lot of people don't believe in any of that, but there's just too much evidence that that there is clones, that people, whatever it is, you know, certain celebrities, there's a whole bunch of theories that there's theories about what's it say, like Dave Chappelle and whatnot, right? People say that he got basically cloned or or something like that, some shit. Um, Supposedly say that so basically like the real actor or whatever, the real person got killed, right? This is the theory. So they're saying that the real actor got killed, right? Supposedly, and basically got replaced with the clone. Um, which is absolutely fucking despicable. You know, you basically kill a person off, and then you make a clone of that person, and then then his family as well. Like that's crazy. You know, that's absolutely crazy. Um, and I've always believed that. I've always believed all that shit because there's a lot of evil people in the world. Okay, there's supposedly a cloning center. Like it's like underground, supposedly, like a secret like cloning center where they let clone celebrities, actors, whatever, like music artists. Supposedly, that's what people are saying. Like, like Eminem, like Eminem, for instance, like Eminem is. A lot of people were saying that when he was started doing his music and whatnot, like back in the day, um, they're basically saying that his music now isn't as good as they're saying that it's not as good as it was back in the day. Like they say he sounds different and whatnot and whatever, right? That he may look different. He may just act weird now, like. But a lot of people were saying that did he get cloned or is this cloning shit just not real? And I'm kind of feeling that he probably like I'm not saying that he necessarily got cloned or anything because again there's just like there's really like one thing is for sure, right? One thing that I do know is that when you do get older, you basically your voice changes and whatnot. Your looks, your appearance, may not look the same, obviously, as when you're younger. So when you get older, obviously, you basically you your looks change and whatnot. Your voice, your music may not be may not sound the same the way it used to be. Like, um, and that's what people were saying. Like the people were saying that Eminem, this and that they killed the real Eminem and then they replaced him with a clone and whatnot. And there's just a lot of theories out there, and that's the biggest one. The biggest one. Um, Excuse me, I had to yawn there. So yeah, That's the biggest theory right there. Like a lot of people believe that clones are 100% real. Like I don't believe that they're real. Well, I do believe that they're real. I believe that clones that there is like some kind of like cloning center or whatever, like somewhere. Um, I do 100% believe that. And yes, I do believe that they kill off celebrities and then clone them after they kill off the real person. That's just my belief, you know. Because again, there's a lot of people even saying that. Even Tom McDonald even was saying that he was talking about like Eminem, I believe, getting cloned or some shit, or saying that he was a clone. Like, so a lot of people were basically like a lot of people would like a lot of people admit that they're clones and whatnot. Like, but like that it's just weird, guys. Like, I really don't know what to think of all that, but all I know is that there is a such thing as cloning, in my opinion. There is a such thing. Like a lot of people, I feel got cloned. Like there's a lot of people that believe, Jay Z, uh, another one, Beyonce, and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of different celebrities and all that. Think that supposedly they kill the real person and replace them. Um, which I don't know, like how that sounds pretty realistic, because that's what evil people do. They would kill somebody and then replace them with a clone and make money off that person, you know. So that's just my honest opinion on that. And then there's another theory, a whole bunch of other theories about like death hoaxes and all that shit, which is also crazy. Which I tend to believe in, a lot of them, because again, That when there's so much evidence in there, when there's so much evidence and whatnot, I tend to believe it because again, we all got to understand too that famous people don't, they're in the spotlight 24/7, and after a while they get tired of that shit, you know, and that's the way I think about that, the way I think about all that. It's kind of like Tupac and all that shit. Like you guys heard a lot of rumors about him and like Elvis and whatnot. There's a lot of people that just believe that their deaths were fake and whatnot. Which Tupac's death was a little bit suspicious. It was definitely suspicious. I think that's very possible. Um, and then obviously Elvis. That dude's that dude's dead. I think yeah, he would be way too old right now, anyways. But yeah, there's just a lot of theories about there's obviously a fake death, obviously the death hoaxes and whatnot, and then there's like cloning, which is crazy, which I tend to believe, you know. Um, and look, and people are gonna call me stupid. People are gonna probably say that crazy and whatnot for thinking anything like that. But honestly, honestly, that's just my belief. If somebody else doesn't believe it, that's completely fine. That's basically their opinion. But me, I believe in that shit. I believe in all that because it's just like when people believe in God, when people believe in Jesus, right? Is Jesus Christ real? Yeah, he is. And so is God, right? So, I mean, a lot of people say that, people had that belief, right? People believe in that. So why can't I believe in like cloning and whatnot and what, in like fake deaths, you know, and death hoaxes and whatnot. Like, why can I not believe that? It's just my belief. So it's just like, that a lot of people have conspiracy theories about, oh, that the rapture and all that shit's gonna happen. Um, which I'm not. I'm not the type of person because I don't know anything about religion. I'm not religious or anything, you know. But people say that the end of the world and whatnot. Um, and people keep on saying that, like, I'm not religious or anything, so I don't really understand. Like, I really don't know enough, But as I was saying, there's a whole bunch of theories out there about that, about the end of the world and whatnot, because people feel like it is going to come to an end someday, which is very possible, but I'm not, I don't know. But anyways, so there is a lot of other people that, again, like the death hoaxes, I mean, it's very possible, just like, the people say like Hitler's death was fake or this and that, People say Elvis's death was fake. Tupac's death was fake, supposedly. Um, Juice World's death supposedly was fake as well. Like, there's just so many theories out there, and I believe it. I tend to believe it all when there's a lot of evidence, especially the Tupac death, which was really weird. um, when he has supposedly got killed, because this is just my opinion on it. Um, so like in 1994, when he supposedly he got shot, right? He survived the shooting in 1994. Well, then he ends up in the hospital. Then he left the hospital because he felt like somebody was going to kill him. So right there, to me, it's kind of a little weird. And then all of a sudden, he was basically predicting his death after all that, and people didn't know like why he was doing that, like why he was even talking about his own death in his music, like after um, that shooting happened. And then after that, he started talking about Machiavelli. But you guys don't know who Machiavelli is. He's a person that supposedly faked his own death to basically escape his enemies and whatnot. Um, which to me, that's just too coincidental. That's too coincidental to me. So I think Tupac's death. I tend to believe that death was fake because, again, so much evidence, too much coincidences. Um, and again, a lot of stuff doesn't add up, and I just don't. That's the one like death I never really believed. Like out of all the other celebrities and whatnot, he's the number one death. When Tupac, like he's the number one death I never believed. Like I never believed. Well, until I started doing more research, because at first I didn't really believe it until I started looking into it more. Um, but then yeah, and then when I started looking into the evidence and all that, and I'm like, man, that's just too coincidental. You know, it's too much of a coincidence. And and a lot of people will say, well, no, the government, this and that, you know, is trying to make it look like he's not dead and whatnot. But that doesn't really, I really don't know. Like, I don't know if the government is just doing that on purpose. But, anyways, whatever it is, it just doesn't really add up. So that's just my opinion on that. Um, and then obviously you got, I don't know if you guys heard about um, Chris Benoit, obviously the wrestler, which I talked about this many, many times on my channel. I talked about, supposedly when he killed his family, killed himself or whatever. Um, I talked about that on the channel a while back. I don't talk about wrestling or anything like that. I don't talk about wrestling at all on the channel. I talk about horror movies. That's about it. That's it. Um, and mostly Scream. Um, but so there was obviously there's a lot. I don't know if you guys ever heard this theory before, but there is a theory that Chris Benoit is actually innocent. That basically him and the family got taken out by supposedly someone, like someone else, somebody, whoever. Uh, there's a theory out there claiming that there's there was people that killed him and his family, which I believe, 100% believe. I don't believe Crispin Wall killed his family for a second. Evidence, so much evidence out there, you know, to that proves that he didn't. Again, the fact that he like the fact that he felt like he was being followed by people was kind of weird on itself. Um, and then also they were also saying that he supposedly committed suicide and whatnot. Like he supposedly had like a towel wrapped around his neck or something. Um, so they were basically saying that he had. I guess they said that he had. It was roid rage and all that. Like they were saying that he killed his family. They didn't look into the murder at all. They didn't look into. They didn't look into it at all. Like you know, they basically just came up with a conclusion. And said that he murdered his family and whatnot, and then himself. But the reason why I believe that somebody else did it is because, again, why would Crispin Wall text Chavo Guerrero all that, about the garage is open and all that and the dogs and whatnot in the back? Like why would he even, why would he need to do any of that? And then on top of that, they were also saying that they were supposedly like empty like beer bottles and whatnot, and there was no sign or anything that Crispin Wall had no drugs in him whatsoever. Um, they were also saying that he had no drugs in him at all. So it's just weird, right? And a lot of people are also saying that, like, why would he care about the way he dies? Which I agree with that. Like, why would he care? Like, why would he care? Why would he care what he looks like? When he dies. So, and then on top of that, right? Supposedly, he was on the phone with Chavo, and somebody was knocking on the door. That's what I heard. And then there's like multiple recordings out there, of supposedly him talking on the phone. He sounds all drugged up and whatnot. Um, you hear people in the background. Like if you listen, I don't know if you guys know this guy by the name of um, Conspiracy Series. I suggest you guys go check him out because he gives you all the best evidence that Crispin Wall is innocent, um, which I believe. Everything is just too coincidental in my opinion. Nothing adds up. Again, and yeah. So I don't think. And then another weird thing too, guys. Okay, this is another thing that you guys gotta, another thing you gotta remember, or another thing you gotta think about. So I guess Nancy and whatnot. Nancy's death was posted, like, so Kristen Wall's wife, death was posted on Wikipedia supposedly hours before like it even happened. Um so yeah, they were saying that, it was Their deaths were posted like on Wikipedia like hours before. You know, so supposedly she was dead like on Friday. So she was dead probably on Friday, and then his son got killed probably Saturday, and then Chris Benoit on Sunday. That's all I could. That's just my opinion because that's just weird. Um, and then on top of that, there was another wrestler too that was found that was also found dead on the same day the incident happened with with Chris Benoit and whatnot. Um, so another body was found, and it was a close friend of Chris Benoit. He was basically Chris Benoit's like he was Chris Benoit's partner, and best friend, you know, and they used to wrestle with each other, I guess, and some other wrestling company, um, and yeah, so he basically so his name was Biff Wellington. His name was, and yeah, he was found the exact same day that the Chris Benoit incident happened, which was absolutely just weird, right? Um, so yeah, that's the weird part about it. That's the thing that does not add up at all with this whole thing. That's with the whole case and whatnot. You know the fact that Chris Benoit, they said that he supposedly had drugs in him, or they said that he didn't have drugs in him at all. So that would mean then that if he didn't have drugs in him at all, then that means that he had no drugs. There was no steroids, no nothing. Um, like they were supposedly saying. So I don't believe for a second that because there's a lot of people with power out here, you know, even the WWE, they had millions and millions of dollars to do some stupid shit like that to cover up a murder. That's just my opinion. Um, People with power, you know, and it's just to me, it's sickening. It's sickening. It's sickening to see. It's sickening to hear about because, again, to sit there and say that somebody did something when they didn't, that's just, which I don't believe he did because there's evidence proving that he didn't, so, which I'm not really gonna like get into like all that, but yeah, there's just a lot of evidence that he didn't do it. And then there's supposedly a lot of possible, so a lot of people were naming like possible, suspects, like people who could have done it, which I truly believe that it could have been Kevin Sullivan because, and again, I'm not gonna sit here and bash the guy. I'm not gonna bash the guy I'm not gonna sit there and say that he stayed a night at the neighbor's house or anything. I'm not gonna say any of that. But the weird thing about this whole thing as well, this whole like this whole story, right? Which is weird, is that the Holly girl. So supposedly the Holly girl, right? The neighbor. She would basically take care of Chris Benoit's dogs and whatnot while he was on the road. So she would basically, take care of their dogs and whatnot. And then we're also hearing that she had ties. She had ties to the Sullivans, which is which is really weird on itself. So the neighbors supposedly had ties to Kevin Sullivan. So everything points to Kevin Sullivan. Like everything points to him. Like because Kevin Sullivan was the one that Kevin Sullivan was mad that Chris Benoit took his girlfriend, which he didn't really take her because she broke up with Kevin Sullivan. So I mean, so he didn't really like steal her or anything from him, but he was, I think, jealous. He was jealous of that. He was jealous that he took, you know, that he took his girlfriend. I think he got jealous, and then on top of that, also he also um, threatened to kill him before. So that's another weird thing, you know. Um, that's really weird, you know. He's basically threatened to kill him before and all that, saying that he was going to cut his head off, put it on a stick for people to throw rocks at, um, and whatnot. So hey man, I don't believe for like a second that Chris Benoit did anything, and I'm gonna stand by that. I'm absolutely gonna stand by that. Um, there's just too much evidence proving that he didn't, and then also as well, right? So I'm gonna switch gears here. So obviously you guys know about um the Ultimate Warrior, right? And I know that this is not a wrestling channel or anything like that, but this is something that I wanted to talk about because nobody's talking about it at this point in time. Like nobody is talking about it. Um, so Ultimate Warrior was said to, I guess, disappear. Well, he was okay. So people were saying that Ultimate Warrior died in 1992, right? But supposedly, so they were saying that he died in 1992 and that he basically disappeared and stayed away. I guess he stayed away from wrestling supposedly, and he went like quiet and just decided to live his own life, you know, for all these years. Um, right. So people were saying that he died in 1992 because nobody saw him around anymore. He just wasn't around. So he appears right again in 2014. He gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, right? And Supposedly, Vince McMahon um, Vince McMahon supposedly like got an impersonator to impersonate the original Ultimate Warrior, which I guess they were two separate people. Supposedly, that's the theory, that they were two different people. Um, which is very interesting, you know? It is very interesting because supposedly they're saying that Vince McMahon got an impersonator to impersonate like a person that looked like the original Ultimate Warrior. Um, because obviously he was said to had died, you know, in 1992 because he wasn't around, you know. And then in 2014, he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, right? And this is really weird. This is sorry guys, I had to yawn there. I'm getting a little sleepy already, but so this is what's weird about the whole situation. So the Ultimate Warrior, he comes back. Supposedly, it's the Ultimate Warrior. They were saying it was a look-alike, like an impersonator, um, but okay. So Ultimate Warrior comes back, right? He comes back. He gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. He go after WrestleMania. He goes on to Monday Night Raw, cut the promo, talks about the circle of life and this and that. And then you know what happens? He get all of a sudden a few days after that appearance, after making that promo, he supposedly dies. He supposedly dies mysteriously, like after he cut a promo on Monday Night Raw, and nobody talks about it. Like, so he cut a promo on Monday Night Raw, and then all of a sudden, a few days after that promo, he ended up getting killed, or I believe he got killed. You know, I think that he got killed personally, because he supposedly he died. He died literally 2 days after cutting a promo, like literally. You know, literally. So there's something fishy going on in WWE. I think Vince McMahon has been killing wrestlers like quietly, because this is too much of too much of a coincidence, you know. Like, how is it that he appeared on Monday Night Raw, like right after he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, he all of a sudden dies? Like, that makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Um, in my opinion, it just doesn't. And there's a lot of people out there, coming up with possible, scenarios, possible, people they supposedly came up with names of people that possibly could have, if Ultimate Warrior did get murdered by somebody. Um, they were coming up with crazy ass, suspects, basically people that might have been involved, that might have done it, right? Um, and the names that you guys are very familiar with these names, and obviously the one of the names is Obviously, Hulk Hogan. You guys know who Hulk Hogan is. Uh, Kevin Nash, supposedly. The Honky Tonk Man, supposedly, and Jake the Snake. Right. Those are the main people that the main, I guess the main wrestlers that could have been involved, that could have done it. Um, and a lot of people say Hulk Hogan didn't like the Ultimate Warrior and whatnot, like he had a vendetta against them. So a lot of people were saying that Hulk Hogan killed him and all that. Like all these theories, right? Which I'm not gonna sit here and point the finger, at anyone. I'm not gonna point the finger at anyone because I don't really, there's really no evidence, I guess, to prove that he was murdered necessarily. Like because I'm just saying that I think he got murdered because right after he cut the that promo, right after he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he just dies miraculously, and that's a little bit too coincidental, in my opinion. There's just something weird about it. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying that he got murdered or anything like that. I mean, I believe that he did because, again, just the right after he cut that promo, man, a few days after, he all of a sudden just, I mean, come on, he miraculously just gets killed off. He miraculously just dies. I mean, that does not add up, in my opinion. You know, and a lot of people will probably call me crazy, and say that I'm nuts for thinking, that he got murdered and all that. Well, how the hell? Like, I don't think I'm fucking crazy. I truly don't because how is it that it's just too coincidental? You cut a promo on Monday Night Raw, you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then right after you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, you get killed. You die. You die right after cutting a promo. I mean, that's a little bit suspicious there, in my opinion. You know, and I'm not sitting here, pointing fingers at anyone saying that, oh, well, this person, that person did it, because obviously there's really no evidence that these people really did it necessarily. The only reason why people believe that Hulk Hogan, killed the Ultimate Warrior is because he had a vendetta against the Ultimate Warrior, supposedly. And supposedly they had a feud, a real life feud with each other. So people were saying that, I don't know, maybe he was jealous of Ultimate Warrior. Who really knows? But I mean, there are just all these theories, about Hulk Hogan could have killed him. Um, Kevin Nash could have killed him, and this. I think Kevin Nash is absolutely just ridiculous in my opinion. But and then the whole theory about Jake the Snake, and also the Honky Tonk Man, which the Honky Tonk Man, he did hate Ultimate Warrior along with Hulk Hogan. Um, I heard that they basically had like a feud with I guess supposedly. Um, so people are coming up with crazy ass theories out there. And look, I'm not one to point fingers. I'm not one to say that, one or the other is in the wrong because, again, I'm not, I just don't want to point fingers at anybody. Unless there's evidence, like true evidence, like that that person did it. Because let's just take the Chris Benoit situation. Like, look at the Chris Benoit incident. People truly believe that Kevin Sullivan did it because he said that. And people say that the neighbor again had ties to Kevin Sullivan. And that right there is just too obvious. That's just too obvious. So if there was something like that to where somebody had ties in the Hulk Hogan or something that we didn't know about, then that's just too coincidental. But we don't have anything like that. We don't know for sure. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, maybe he did die. Maybe he just miraculously had bad health or something like that we didn't know about. I really don't know. But again, his death was weird. His death was definitely weird, in my opinion. Um, and because again, I'm not gonna point my fingers at anyone. You know, that's what one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to sit here and point fingers at people. You know, but and there's really no evidence, and I don't really know why people think that Jake the Snake Roberts killed him necessarily. I don't know if he might have had a feud with them as well. I have no idea. I have no idea, but a lot of people seem to believe that. A lot of people believe that Kevin Nash and Jake the Snake had something to do with it, with Ultimate Warrior's death, which I don't believe. Well, I guess it's very possible, you know. Um, it's very possible. And I think Hulk Hogan's even more possible because, but again, I'm not going to sit here and point my finger at him. But yeah, there's just a lot of theories out there, like a lot of theories. And I just felt like his death. I felt like his death was just weird. It was just weird. I think it was weird. It was definitely weird. Um, because again, right after he cut that promo, that was basically like right after he cut the promo, like right after, you know, like right after, like 2 days after he cut that promo, he supposedly died. Supposedly, he supposedly died. He got killed. Well, not supposedly, he did. He died. All right. Uh, so he supposedly dies. There's no explanation. Nobody's questioning anything. Nobody's questioning anything. Like they don't think that that's a little weird that he dies right after cutting that promo, like a few days after. I mean, I find that to be a little weird. You know, I think that's a little bit too coincidental, in my honest opinion. It's just too coincidental. But I'm not gonna sit here and point fingers at people. Of course, that's just a theory that people have, which I tend to believe because Vince McMahon is known to do stupid shit. He's killed. I think he killed Owen Hart. He got Chris Benoit killed. He got Eddie Guerrero killed. In my opinion. Um, and who's to say that he wouldn't do the same shit to Ultimate Warrior? I mean, the Ultimate Warrior literally was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then right after that, all of a sudden he dies. So I thought that was a little weird, a little strange, like on itself. That again, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, then miraculously gets killed or dies. Not gets killed, but I believe he got killed. I believe he got murdered by somebody. I'm not going to say who because again, it could be anyone. A lot of people say Hulk Hogan. A lot of people say Jake the Snake, which I don't really know what Jake the Snake. I don't know what he had against Ultimate Warrior necessarily. There's just a lot of people out there that believe he did. That he hated the Ultimate Warrior one way or another. And so they use that and say that he killed. They think that he killed um, the Ultimate Warrior, which I don't necessarily believe. Again, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers, but it is very possible that he got murdered because if you really think about it, all these other wrestlers that died was all Vince McMahon's fault. In my opinion, like a lot, all those deaths were basically his fault. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, that they weren't his fault because they were. Like, Owen Hart's death, that was like before he went down that zip line. Like, why would you not make sure that that shit was secure and safe? You know, that's just my question. Because if he did, like, I don't understand why he didn't make sure that was safe before he even went down that zip line or whatever. I don't know why he didn't make sure that it was safe to go down. All of a sudden, yeah. So I think Vince McMahon killed him. Um, Vince McMahon got Eddie Guerrero killed, in my opinion. Chris Benoit, he framed Chris Benoit and said that he killed his family when he didn't. I don't think. I think he's innocent. Um, so yeah, Vince McMahon's done some stupid ass shit, and I think that he has a lot of dead bodies in his closet. A lot of wrestlers that he killed, wrestlers that he got killed. Um, And again, I'm not saying that he murdered, not saying that he murdered, any wrestler. I'm just saying that he was the reason why. Because again, he knew everything about, he knew what was going on. He knew about the steroids and all that. He knew about all that shit. You know? So, but anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna get off of here a little early tonight. I am getting a little tired, to be honest with you. Um, but I do appreciate everyone, for those of you that didn't get to make it. Be sure to hit the replay button. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just getting so tired right now. I'm kind of falling asleep. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Call it early because again, I am a little tired and I'm a little sleepy. Trying to, I'm getting into relaxation mode. So, anyways, guys, for those of you that didn't get to make it to the stream, be sure to watch the replay. As always, be sure to hit the like button and comment down below as always as well. And until the next one, y'all, good night.